All right. Hello, everyone. So my name's Kevin. I'm from the Intuit at Your Table program here in San Diego, California. I just wanted to introduce everybody to one of my absolute favorite vendors in the world, Miss Taylor Field. She's from the Nostalgia Coffee Roasters. How are you doing today, Taylor?
Yes. Good to see you, Kevin. Doing well. Thanks for saying that's your favorite coffee roaster. It's been a couple months. Yes. Weird times we're in, but we're coming to you live from our mobile cafe here. So.
Yeah, awesome. If anybody is from our San Diego location, they definitely know what the inside of that cafe or your mobile cafe looks like. I was parked outside of Intuit there for probably months at a time, a couple of days a week. So honestly, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. So I just wanted to have a couple questions and kind of go into some stuff. We kind of, the purpose of this is we just wanted to get to know you, get to know your business. So I think the first question is, in knowing your background and that you had kind of worked for Intuit before, what made you make the switch and what made you get into coffee, or where's that passion from?
Yeah, so I guess it's been a journey in my life. So my parents were not into coffee growing up, so I had no experience with coffee. Grew up in New Mexico, went to school in Chicago. For anyone that's ever lived in Chicago or been around there, the cold, dark winters can be awfully depressing. Oh man, they really bummed me out. And so looking for something to help out with that, the legal drug coffee appeared. And I started drinking coffee for courses just in the morning, going to cafes. It wasn't until I started studying for the CPA exam, though, which was sometimes 12 hours a day at my favorite cafe called Intelligentsia, where I really got into the whole coffee culture side of things. So watching them brew in a scientific way, seeing what they could make happen with a single origin coffee, seeing that community in the cafe was so cool. Just working from a cafe all day and people coming in and out, it was like a whole community that I absolutely loved. So I would say that's where I fell in love with coffee. Moved to San Diego, was doing accounting, got my CPA, and then was brewing coffee at our clients' locations all the time just for fun for like CFOs and people we were working with on audit. There were always impromptu coffee courses. I would bring my favorite brewer and a grinder. And finally, one day I was like, wait, I'm like really obsessed with coffee. Maybe I should do something with coffee in my life and not be here auditing companies. So decided to leave the accounting world, which was a longer process. Actually went and worked at Intuit for a little while, which was awesome in their corporate accounting group. And then started Nostalgia Coffee, which was quite a long process, but I am so in love with coffee. So it's been great.
So when you know, having been, I've worked in the restaurant industry for years and found a very comfortable home for myself. And then I've, always been in the back of my mind to want to take that leap to, hey, I want to go in and do something for myself. How scary is that? What was your,
oh my gosh,
what was the point of no return where you just knew that, hey, I have to do this. There's nothing in my mind that's going to stop me from doing this.
It's kind of like skydiving. You jump out of the plane and then you just have to go with it. You can't turn back. But getting to that point where you actually step out was just a ton of anxiety. You're scared. You're not sure if you're making the right decision. You're leaving a salaried job. Difficult part is a lot of people around you are like, maybe you should just keep this as your passion and something that you do as a hobby. But you have such a good job. You should keep it. So it was really challenging to even go against like my sister who was like, are you sure you want to take this leap? Lots of anxiety, but once I decided to do it and you realize, hey, this is something you're passionate about, that you can work through those really hard days. It's totally worth it if you love what you're doing. I was not in love with auditing. There are people out there who love auditing. But for me, definitely being around coffee, making coffee for people, it makes me so happy. So even the hardest days, even the fact that some months I get no money at all for myself, it's still totally worth it. But not to sugarcoat it, it's anxiety provoking. It can be depressing at times, scary, but overall, it's always sprinkled with tons of happiness and just the passion keeps me going. So, yeah.
Awesome. How much of your past life as a CPA helped you in running your own books and running that side of the business?
Yeah, it's so funny. I always like to tell people that we're like kind of an Intuit, not success story, but like I've worked for Intuit. I was in accounting, then we brought the cafe to Intuit. So accounting has just been like involved in my whole life, it seems like. But definitely having a business background, majored in accounting and finance in college, has substantially given me a leg up on a lot of people who do want to start businesses, just by understanding where do we get the funding, how are we doing our taxes properly so we're able to save money here, are we depreciating costs properly, which has huge tax implications. And if you mess up and you owe a lot of tax one way or another, that could ruin a company easily. So definitely lucky from that standpoint, setting up our books up front. The first year, though, of running the coffee shop, did not want anything to do with accounting, so I did as minimal as possible, which is still more than most, I would say. But now as we're growing, we now have a team of 4 folks, and it seems like my accounting is coming back for revenge, and I'm just spending more and more time in Excel, which I'm actually starting to enjoy again, because it is for like our company, and it's important to have good accounting books, obviously, for loans or investors in the future. So very lucky that we've taken that relatively seriously the last couple of years.
Awesome. Yeah. How long have you guys been in business at this point? How long has Nostalgia Roasters been up and going?
Oh my gosh, you got to go way back a couple of years. 2.5 years we've been going, Kevin, but we actually built this mobile cafe from the wheels up, not the ground up, which took about a year and a half of planning and doing, most of it on my own, just to get the business started. And I was working it into it while I was working on this whole concept. And yeah, it took a long time, but we've actually been selling coffee for about 2.5 years now, which is pretty weird to say. And time is blurred with COVID, right? Like what day is it right now? I don't even know.
Right. I believe we're somewhere in December, I think. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And I look like I'm in a spaceship, so.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to something you touched on. And so you were talking about building this program. You're working you're working your normal job, and you're trying to build this business plan, this business model. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced in those opening kind of months of Nostalgia?
Oh my gosh. Other than the constant anxiety of, am I doing what I should be doing? It was really I guess 2 things. Am I starting the company properly? Who do I talk to about the licenses I need, about setting up an LLC or an S Corp? Who do I go to for that? And then the other questions are, where do I get money from? Obviously, that's pretty important when you're starting a business or anything, is where's the money, where's the funding? And I was lucky enough to come up with some creative ways to get money, but traditional loans, traditional lending for new businesses or startups is nearly impossible. So you have to be really creative with ways of finding cash, getting capital. Not all of us come from super wealthy backgrounds. I spent all the money I had saved, which wasn't a lot. And then I used some pretty cool techniques with credit cards with 0 interest for 12 months as like short-term loans to get us equipment until we could start paying those off and making revenue. So definitely the most challenging is probably finding money at any stage of a business. And there's a lot of wealthy people out there, but having them just give you a little bit of money is not simple.
Got it. So, yeah. Let's touch base on a little bit of the innovations. And so when we first met about 1.5 years back, you just had the coffee cart. You were, kind of going on site, going around town, hitting these different events. Recently, I believe you just started the roasting division of your company. What kind of drove that change, and maybe some of the other, changes that you make and growth you're making? What were the driving factors of your creativity behind this?
Which I have to say, it's important that we started a roasting division because we've always had Nostalgia Coffee Roasters in our name. And so now I can finally proudly say it. But that was also part of it. When you're just starting out with a company, you can't do everything at once, especially on a minimum budget. So we weren't able to roast for the first year and a half of operation. We were working with some local roasting partners who were great mentors to us. I met some really good friends through that, and actually our head roaster through working with these different folks. But yeah, the original idea for myself was just to get into the coffee industry in a way that wouldn't take an excessive amount of capital. And that was a mobile cafe concept and something that we could move around to different crowds and try to get our name built out there. Ideally, it would have been great and saved me a lot of stress if we had a physical location. I wouldn't be changing oil or tires or brakes or having things fall off the trailer on the highway. But it's been really good. So with the innovation side of, I guess our first concept of the mobile cafe was unique in the fact that you can kind of get an idea in here. This setup, we're only in a 7-foot by 10-foot trailer, and it has everything you would expect from $1 million build out in a cafe. We could go hours through everything we have in here, but we've got the best espresso machine manual. We can compete with any coffee shop in the world on quality. So that was one of the first things to happen to San Diego for specialty coffee. We're the only third wave mobile coffee shop in San Diego. That helped get our name out. We were working quite a bit there before COVID with the trailer, doing a ton of really cool events. We were getting invited to a lot of kind of specialty events because of our name. COVID hit, and obviously everyone was shut down. Our primary business was then shut down. So we really took that opportunity, which was difficult, but to kind of pivot and take that moment into roasting. And my good friend from a local coffee roaster here decided to join us as a head roaster. We struggled to find money again for that, but we made it happen in creative ways. And yeah, about 6 months ago, we started roasting our coffee. We got a warehouse. We're selling online to try to get revenue during COVID, instead of going to everyone, actually being able to deliver coffee to people's homes. We're having our events back in place now with the mobile cafe, and it's a great advertisement for us. We've got our business brand on the inside, outside, and we're selling our actual coffee here. And people love to hear the story behind each coffee. I mean, we work with the farmers. We can tell you literally everything you want to know about the coffee, probably too much information on it. But it's been a lot of fun. We have a lot more goals. But yeah, I guess the underlying thing from COVID is it really did allow us the time to make that move into roasting sooner than we had anticipated. But we're very lucky for that. And yeah, it's actually worked out quite well that we could take so much time to focus on roasting our coffee. So, but yes, money is still a difficulty with that.
Unfortunately, I don't think that'll ever go away.
Oh my gosh, I know. One of these days.
I know a lot of businesses right now, especially during COVID, had to really take a step back and really look at, what can we do differently to keep a revenue stream open? And I'm glad you guys found that, because I think that was a lot of people's sink or swim moment over the last few months, was trying to figure out what they can do differently to bring that in. Plus, being something you wanted to get to already, it's almost like a blessing in a very bad disguise. And most don't even want to say that.
It's one of those things where it's sink or swim, and then you can also capitalize on these opportunities. And we're really working hard on making this, becoming a well-known roaster around the country. And so we're going to work hard on capitalizing on this moment too, despite all the difficulties and everything we're facing. It's not always a beautiful picture, but yeah.
Got it. All right, so let's talk about Intuit and having been a former employee and then just being on our San Diego campus. I mean, you were a figurehead there the entire time I've been employed with them and ran the cafe there. But we've had some partnerships after COVID and everything. So what impact has Intuit had on you directly for your business, and where, can you quantify that, or just to explain a little bit about that?
Golly, let's see, going back to, I'd say the most obvious impact, right, is using QuickBooks for the business. But aside from that fact, Intuit as a company, as a culture, has been a huge impact on us. So when we were first opening the mobile cafe, we didn't have a name for ourselves. No one knew us in San Diego. I presented our concept to a couple of folks at Intuit that I actually didn't know, that I didn't work with. And they were like, you know what? We love supporting small businesses. We're all about empowering small business. And they actually mean it, which is so cool that a company actually means what they stand for. So they said, yeah, why don't you come on campus, bring your food truck. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it works out. And we'd love to support you, and let's see how it works. So we did that the first couple of times, and people started to try our coffee. And from there, it just like blew up at Intuit to becoming one of our main events, our main sources of revenue. Something where we were able to innovate and really hone in not only our crafting coffee, but kind of our outdoor cafe experience vibe with tables, having lines of people. It was just really great. So Intuit's been supportive from the fact that they were willing to take a risk on a new company coming onto their campus. Aside from that, what was really amazing is COVID was that in March, mid-March, COVID happened. We were planning to be into it even more, which was going to be a huge part of our business to make the best coffee for everyone at Intuit. So we even invested in this massive espresso machine behind me, which is a fantastic machine. But when everyone closed and Intuit started to work remote, we found ourselves in a really tough position before the PPE and the EIDL loans came in. So we actually created a GoFundMe, which I did not want to do because I've got a lot of pride, but ended up having to do it. And we blasted that to a couple of folks at Intuit. They spread the word along literally got through all of Intuit, and we had raised within a day $7,500, something like that, from Intuit folks to help us get through the next couple of weeks. So we didn't have to permanently close, and we could wait until we got the payroll protection. And I think that just speaks to not only like Intuit's culture, but the people that work there is they really do support and want to empower small businesses. And like, yeah, maybe it sounds over the top, but like genuinely, they clearly care about small businesses. And I was not surprised since I had worked there, but it's really nice when a company actually cares about their mission and their goal and helping people. And what a better way than literally helping a small business grow. We're here today in large part because of Intuit and the support of their employees. A lot of our online orders right now are subscribers. Most of them are from Intuit. They love our coffee. We got them hooked, but they got to try our coffee because Intuit as a company allowed us to be on campus. And yeah, we have ongoing partnerships with Intuit right now. They've been different departments. Marketing department has bought coffee for all their employees and will send bags to them. So just continually supporting small businesses has been awesome. Yeah, I could keep going, but that's kind of the main part of it, you could say.
No, it's awesome. And unbeknown to you, I've used you. I've had the opportunity with my own company to do a couple of different training seminars with various people talking about customer service and creating an experience for people. And so for everybody that doesn't know, you in San Diego and what you do, we have a full-time coffee shop on site at subsidized pricing. And then I look out the window and I can see people lining up around the corner just to have the experience that you've created for them on a daily basis. And I've tried to translate that to a lot of our team and what you do by setting up everything on the outside and just being friendly and being that person that people go talk to on a daily basis. That's where all of that kind of passion and support has came from. It was very much created on your end too as well. So we appreciate that a lot.
I love it.
Oh, sorry. Did you have something else?
I was going to say, no, one of the coolest parts is when we were at Intuit before COVID, is seeing a line of people taking a break from work and like hanging out with their friends and almost like escaping from that work environment for a moment, listening to music, waiting for that coffee. We're telling them about the origins of the coffee, or we're just talking about their day. And a lot of them used it as just that break from work, but on campus still, which is a pretty awesome and unique thing. So yeah, it's great being a part of that for sure.
Awesome. So now we're getting hopefully out of COVID soon. You have a whole new business model that you're another segment of your business model that's starting to see some success. What are still the challenges away ahead for you? What are the next steps for you?
Man, so we definitely go back to money as the primary challenge for growth, but we are really looking to expand. I think in the next 5 years, we're super excited about the potential. Like I said, we have a team of 4 now. It started with a team of 1. And we're looking to open our first couple cafes in San Diego that are co-working-esque type environments where you can study and work from all day long. Something really unique for the San Diego market, and I think all over the country. That could be great. And we're hoping to work with Intuit on that front as well. And we'll see what kind of support they can give us on the cafe front, doing like a membership, almost coffee subscription for employees. But yeah, so we're looking to open a couple cafes here. We've got a roastery. We're going to keep growing that online. And then we're working on now trying to get money from investors for this concept and hopefully take it regional at some point and national. We definitely have big sites, but it always comes back to money and funding, but it's always really covered by that passion. So no matter what, we're going to get there. We're going to keep pushing and trying. But at the same time, we're going to be hopefully working with some investors here soon that can give us that support, that can believe in us, kind of like Intuit believed in us at first, and help us grow even more. But it's an exciting time as long as we can get through COVID, which I'm sure we will, no doubt, obviously. But everything is not on hold. We're moving forward with everything, but carefully for sure. But yeah, we want to open cafes in San Diego soon so we can get everyone into a physical spot to work remote from if they ever need to.
I know for me on the outside looking in, when I look at your company as Nostalgia and you look at just trying to start that in the San Diego market, it was already flooded with 1,000,001 coffee roasters. It's like the beer market in San Diego. There's always somebody new popping up. For you guys to come in and do what you did basically from scratch to now have a name for yourself and looking at brick and mortar and expanding and doing all these things. I mean, if that's not the definition of a success story, I don't know what is there.
It's all about finding that differentiator, right? And just being kind and making great coffee and not being judgy and creating an open environment goes a long way. But really being kind to people is so powerful. It sounds cheesy, but it's a powerful thing to be like, here's your coffee, and I'm smiling, and I'm telling you about it. Like, it's not that hard to do, but it is hard to do.
It is. On a daily basis, guest after guest, it can be difficult, but you guys do it well.
Yes.
All right, I got one more for you. What's one fun thing you think everybody should know about you?
Oh my gosh, one fun
the cliche
thing.
Question of the year.
Yes. Let's see, there's a lot of fun things I think about myself, a lot of weird things. All right, I guess one kind of unique thing that I don't tell a lot of people. So going to school in Chicago, I absolutely fell in love with deep dish pizza to the point where it's an actual problem. So my favorite deep dish place in Chicago is called Luminati's. Great people, great pizza there. The cheese is to die for. The crust is so good. I actually named my gecko after Luminati's. Lou originally, turned out she's a girl, so Lucy is my pet gecko's name. And I get pizza delivered once a month from Chicago here. They make the pizza, they freeze it, and then they send it to me on dry ice. And it's a little over the top, and I would certainly have more money in my account if I wasn't spending a certain amount of money on these pizzas. But if anyone has the chance to try Luminati's, it's life-changing. So yeah, I guess that's one weird thing about me.
I mean, that's a passion. If you're flying it in on dry ice once a month, I'll give it to you.
Dude,
they've created a good customer base then.
The pizza, golly, it's so good. But yeah, I mean, I think I might have to go home and eat one today. But yeah, so give it a shot. Anyone that watches this, if you have a chance to go to Chicago, Luminati's is great. So, and they're not paying me to say that. I don't get any free pizza from them.
No royalties.
I get no royalties. Anyways,
awesome.
Yes.
Well, Taylor, thanks for your time. Thanks for sitting down with me for a little bit today. It was nice to see an old friend that I haven't seen in a long time. I appreciate it. And then other than that, yeah, I'll look forward to hopefully seeing you in person soon over the next few months.
Heck yeah. Thanks for talking with us. Thanks for all the support. And if you're ever bored at night and want to read about coffee, check out our website for sure.
Awesome. All right, Taylor, have a great day.
All right. See ya.